And
14
none.
miles per hour, an eventual turn that takes it more northeast and then eventually east. So there's a look at the severe weather anticipated with a tornado watch in effect until 11 o'clock this evening. That will include Tampa, St. Pete, Fort Myers, Naples, Alligator Alley, then Fort Pierce down through Fort Lauderdale and Miami as well. So some banding happening within our storm here. And you can see a larger rain shield around the center of circulation, but you're going to get these bands. And within those bands, where you can have some of the taller thunderstorm clouds, you can get brief tornado spin-ups, and this is why we have the tornado watch until 11 o'clock tonight. Likely to be extended as well. Very gusty winds within some of the squalls as well. So gusty force in Key West, and now the winds really starting to pick up closer to the core of the storm itself. There's an anticipated northeast turn and then east turn, weakening with the interaction with land and accelerating through the week. But still, a lot of different cities, a lot of different states likely to be hit by this before it eventually exits up into Canada and the North Atlantic here. But you can see that storm surge is going to be an issue for us here from Bonita Beach up to Tampa and beyond. But truly, at this point, I think it's going to be probably around here, say Venice Beach and points northbound. We'll see the highest amounts of water rise. Dr. Knapp, what do you think about that? Kind of the angle of approach here, the intensification, how it all plays out, the water rise we'll see?
Yeah, I think the delineation that you drew on the coastline is right because of not only it's going to be that area northward that's going to have the onshore push that's stronger, but also it's going to happen when it's closer to high tide. Right now, we've got low tide on a lot of places on the southwest and west coast of Florida. And that is keeping the overall water levels down to lessen the storm surge flooding. We're getting some storm surge, and you can certainly see on the visible imagery how the push toward the coast has happened, but it just hasn't happened at the time of high tide. Now, as the system goes farther to the north, when we get up into the Tampa Bay area, and this is up in here, then you're going to have the push into the bay toward the northern end of the bay. Not all that displaced from the time of high astronomical tide. And that's when we'll see some of these observations start to show something other than zero. So there's a surge, but the astronomical high tide is low, so the combination of the two aren't working in concert yet. Now, we look at the timing of high tide for Tampa Bay. That's 3:30 in the morning. Right now, we're at low tide. So if the storm were hitting right now, we would have them kind of opposing one another, but they're unfortunately going to line up. And that's what these numbers from the Hurricane Center are forecasting. When they forecast 3 to 5 feet of storm surge flooding, that is the combination of storm surge and tide. And when they're lined up like that, that's when you can realize these values. So, Jackie, you can see the orientation of the onshore flow relative to Tampa Bay as we get into the early morning hours.
All right, Dr. Knapp will still to come. We're going to have much more on Hurricane Elsa as it continues to batter Florida with strong winds and heavy downpours.
Domino's is testing driverless delivery powered by Neuro, and it's got someone back to their old habits. Avoid the noise when you get any 2 or more medium 2-topping Domino's pizzas delivered for just $5.99 each.
My heart failure diagnosis changed my priorities. I want time for the people I love. My heart doesn't pump enough blood, so my doctor gave me Farxiga. It helps my heart do this job better. Farxiga helps keep me living life and out of the hospital for heart failure. Do not take if allergic to Farxiga. Symptoms of a serious allergic reaction include rash, swelling, difficulty breathing, or swallowing. Stop taking and seek medical help right away. Tell your doctor right away if you have red color in urine, or pain while you urinate, or a genital area infection, since a rare but serious genital infection may be life-threatening. Do not take Farxiga if you have severe kidney problems or are on dialysis. Other serious side effects include dehydration, sudden kidney problems, genital yeast and bacterial infections in women and men, urinary tract infections, and low blood sugar. Stop taking Farxiga and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of ketoacidosis, which is serious and may lead to death.
why would those type of old people be having a young ass child?
If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
And so we got pregnant with our daughter in 2016. Then we kind of realized that we needed a regular babysitter.
At care.com, you can find a babysitter or nanny who's just right for you. Join now, care.com.
Sildenafil, Tadalafil, Viagra, Stendra. Many ED options available.
Not sure where to start? Let us simplify it for you. Go to forhims.com/ED and get started with a free online visit while supplies last.
It's time for Sleep Number's lowest prices of the season on the Sleep Number 360 smart bed. It's the most comfortable, body sensing, automatically responding, energy building, dually adjustable, dad powered, wellness boosting, foot warming, temperature balancing, recovery assisting, effortlessly life changing, proven quality night's sleep we've ever made. And now the new Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 smart bed is only $8.99, only for a limited time. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
At Chewy, we know walks are made better with our furry friends, and we're here to make those walks easy. From tasty treats on the go to toys that keep them moving. Get everything they need, even prescriptions, delivered right to your door. Get fast, free 1 to 2 day shipping. Visit Chewy.com today.
At Chewy, you can shop America's #1 pet pharmacy anytime, anywhere. It's so simple. You can order on a walk, at the beach, even over breakfast. And with fast free delivery, there's more time for the good stuff. Shop America's #1 pet pharmacy. Visit Chewy.com today.
It seemed like a normal day.
I got an alert on my phone, and then all hell broke loose. It was complete chaos.
Mother Nature gives you a warning sign. Get ready for something big.
You just hang on for dear life and hope for the best.
Now is not the time to be going on any joy rides. This would be an event where we would see flash flooding. Listen to your local emergency managers. We do see the risk of tornadoes being spun off from this thing.
That is hoping that rain and also really keeps it conserved.
I want to thank you for listening here for our special coverage of Hurricane Elsa on Like Venice.
And I'm Jackie Jarrett. Yes, you're just joining us. You may not know that Elsa is now a hurricane for the second time.
Amazing. It's got some great structure to it now, and we're going to talk details with Dr. Knapp, but impressive to see it on the satellite and the radar. But let's update you on what we know right now. 33 Florida counties are under a state of emergency. Shelters are open in Pinellas, Pasco, Hernando counties. There are 52 Florida National Guardsmen staged at the State Logistics Response Center in Orlando. They're ready to respond to impacted counties that request them. And as Elsa continues its move up the west coast of Florida, places like Clearwater Beach, in for a very rough night. Meteorologist Reynolds Wolf is there for us this evening. Reynolds just now starting to get kind of the northern edge of the system coming your way, and it goes downhill pretty quickly tonight.
It certainly is. And before we give you the narrative of what's happening here for a moment, Matt Safer, Matt, let's get a view of the sky just for a moment. We've seen just this beautiful filter that's been coming through, and there is a true golden hue that we've been seeing over the last several minutes or so. But certainly, it's kind of a betrayal of what's to come. You see this beauty now, but the true ugliness is going to unravel here, I would say, the next several hours, if not the next several minutes. All right, let's give you a little bit of the legwork. This is the marina here in Clearwater. And one of the big concerns we have at Clearwater Beach and the marina itself is that each and every one of these boats has the potential of becoming a projectile, an aquatic projectile. So if they were to break free, you can imagine with surge coming up and with rising water, if these, tear free, then guess what? These boats can slosh against each other, cause damage. That is certainly the last thing that these 5 men and women that own these vessels would have happen. The town has really cleared out considerably. You know, we just left the 4th of July weekend. A lot of people have left, but still, you've got many people that live here. 3.1 million people in the greater Tampa Bay, St. Pete area. And I'll tell you, we've got this new visitor coming in, that being Elsa. And just over the last several minutes especially, we've had intermittent showers, but really the big thing has been the wind. Certainly different now than it was then. Take a look at the water over here. You can kind of see it stirring up a little bit. Very different from what happened, say, a couple hours ago when we first came out. So this is the first bit of a metamorphosis that we're seeing on, I wouldn't say the ground level, but actually the water level. And we expect that to change. So think about it. It's all about movement. You've got water that's getting churned up. Eventually, you're going to have it rise, possibly over this sidewalk where we happen to be, escaping the boundaries of this marina. And then we're going to have the rain that's going to come through. And there's a pattern that happens when you have a landfalling or an approaching tropical system. The pattern is almost like a a pulsing effect where you'll have some showers that'll come through. It'll be very, very intense. Then that moves through. I know it's a tropical infeed, but one thing we have to remember, Dr. Nath, as Dr. Nath, you know this very well, the threat of tornadoes. We have these landfall and tropical systems, ladies and gentlemen. What can happen is you do at times have tornadoes that can form. They're often weak, they're often small, but they're rain wrapped, really hard to see, and they can certainly cause a lot of damage and loss of life. So one of many, many threats we have over the next several hours, Dr. Nath. Yeah, and the tornadoes tend to be in the right front quadrant of the circulation relative to the forward motion, especially if there's land to add to the friction and the spin-ups. And that's just one of the ways in which the Florida Peninsula is on Elsa's bad side, right? You're on the east side, the rainier, windier side, the onshore flow side, all that. So far, the hurricane hunters have not confirmed sustained winds of hurricane force, but they have not even come close to completing their mission. Still got flood advisories here in Naples, so that's the beginning of the flooding problems. That goes till 11:30, and this training is going to ramp up the flood concerns as we go through the next few hours. And the rain rates in this part of the storm, the business end of it, are really going to be high. And we could have a combination of freshwater and saltwater flooding. Now let's take a look at some of the observations that we're getting on shore. Still, we haven't gotten the worst of the winds on the coast yet. The storm's going parallel to the coastline. Gusts at 35 miles an hour at Sarasota, 29 at Fort Myers. Let's zoom in on the Tampa Bay region. Venice has gusted over 40 for a while. St. Petersburg gusting to 38, and it's all kind of in this direction, so it's coming from land. And that slows the winds down a bit. But once the center of circulation gets up in here and you get the open exposure from the Gulf, then the winds and the wind gusts will be even stronger. So, Jackie, it's going to be a rough night with wind and water in the west coast of the Florida Peninsula.
Yeah, a lot of folks not getting much sleep tonight. Well, coming up on Weather Underground, live coverage from the Florida Gulf Coast continues. Plus, we're going to break down the timing for dangerous effects well after landfall that's stretching all the way into the mid-Atlantic.
Welcome to Allstate. Here, if you already pay for car insurance, you can take your home along for the ride. Allstate. Better protection costs a whole lot less. Click or call to bundle today.
Kleenex Ultra Soft Tissues. 3 layers strong for sneezes,
Bitch, I have so many bad.
and everything in between. Kleenex. For all the moments. A portion of every purchase is donated to students in need.
I order my groceries online now.
It
Shingles
does
doesn't
look
care.
like that.
I keep my social distance. Shingles doesn't care.
I stay within my family bubble.
Shingles doesn't care. Because if you've had chickenpox, you're already carrying the virus that causes shingles. In fact, about 1 in 3 people will develop shingles, and the risk only increases as you age. So what can protect you against shingles? Shingrix protects. Now you can protect yourself from shingles with a vaccine proven to be over 90% effective. Shingrix is a vaccine used to prevent shingles in adults 50 years and older. Shingrix does not protect everyone and is not for those with severe allergic reactions to its ingredients or to a previous dose. An increased risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome was observed after vaccination with Shingrix. The most common side effects are pain, redness, and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, tiredness, headache, shivering, fever, and upset stomach. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about protecting yourself with Shingrix. Shingles doesn't care, but we do.
Dog. One in the year with the dog. A fucking dog! No wonder I have dogs for pets. But legit, I was born in the year of the dog. 2006. It was a shitty year though. So. Because we got Sonic 06, which was horrible. Because you're supposed to, it's not human stuff with the human animal cool. We're gonna skip that.
Old customers, new customers, families, businesses, in-laws, law firms, every customer. New 5G phones when you turn in your old ones. And if you're not a customer, we'll help cover the cost to switch. Just ask Wanda. She's been with us since. Now, upgrade your phone, upgrade your network.
Flowers are fighters. That's why the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End Alzheimer's is full of them. Because flowers find a way to break through, just like we will. Join the fight at alz.org/walk.
So now Dish allows you to access your Google Nest Hello doorbell from your TV.
And what time is it? No, he's here early. He can't see me like this. What do I do?
Always know who's at your door right from your TV. Dish, tuned in to you.
Shade makes people do crazy things.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
Welcome back as we continue to track what's now Hurricane Elsa. It slammed into the area of St. Petersburg, Florida earlier this evening. Check out the intense rainfall. I mean, this is blinding rain here. You can't even see the end of that. You can tell if that's a pier or a bridge, but palm trees bending over and the strong gusty conditions. And this is really just the beginning of what's going to be a very rough night for folks there in St. Petersburg, Florida. Thanks for staying with us here on the Weather Channel and our continuing coverage. Elsa now a hurricane yet again. If you're just joining us, you may have missed less than an hour ago. It was upgraded and winds now up to about 75 miles per hour. Now those strongest of winds remain offshore, and the center of this hurricane is 40-45 miles off towards the west of the Florida coastline, and this is moving in a northerly direction right now, so it is paralleling the Florida coast, eventually taking a northeasterly turn and working its way inland later on tonight or tomorrow morning. But those squalls really have been hitting you here in the last number of hours. Fort Myers up towards Sarasota, but look at Naples. Naples, you had a break a little bit earlier, and now we're seeing a new squall that's working its way in there. And one of the other things we really are going to have to keep our eye out for, not just the strong winds, not just some water level rises here, but also a few tornadoes, a tornado watch in effect until 11 o'clock tonight, so we'll watch for those to work their way on shore. Hurricane warnings remain in effect from Tampa all the way up towards the Big Bend with tropical storm watches. Well, in South Carolina, the forecast track showing you this working towards the Big Bend area and then hooking right towards the Carolinas, the mid-Atlantic states, and perhaps even scraping or getting near the northeastern coast of the U.S. So, Mike, we've got a long way to go even after landfall. This is going to have big impacts for the rest of the week.
It really is, and so many of you at home right now are asking, okay, what about for me? What's it going to mean for me? Well, let's walk you through that. City by city, the timeline for you, what you can anticipate, including this evening, with breezy conditions from around Cedar Key up toward Gainesville or Jacksonville. Wouldn't call it necessarily windy, but breezy. Now, windy happens overnight tonight and tomorrow, where I think the center of circulation may come very close to a Lake City or a Gainesville. Winds are really gusting for you in the morning, peaking midday tomorrow as the center may come right over that I-75, I-10 interchange. You're very close to it, at least. Wind gusts that could be in excess of 40 miles per hour. Then it's staying very windy through tomorrow night, backing off then come Thursday morning. I think by Friday you're in very, very good shape. But very scattered storms for us for the next several hours. Then I think the rain really begins to fill in mid-morning tomorrow. Center of circulation could be right about here, somewhere near Cedar Key. Really heavy rainfall here along I-75, then eventually I-10, and within some of those really strong bands. That's where you get the highest wind gusts. That's when you have the likelihood for your heaviest rainfall rates, and you have the highest likelihood for most damage as well. Overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday, notice how the rain really backs off. So what they're scattered for you come Thursday morning. It's so crazy for us. I right through here, say Winter Haven to Orlando to Daytona.
I didn't even realize.
Daytona down to Melbourne. Again, breezy for you tonight and tomorrow.
Maggie, no, come here.
No, you're not going out front. No.
You're going to definitely feel the effects of the
Maggie!
Notice there's something there, but the core of the storm is going to stay well to your west, and that's a benefit for you at least. But you will not escape the rain, and there'll be banding of storms. One thing to watch for may actually be in some of these bands some tornadoes. That's something to keep an eye on here. Notice the storms mid-morning tomorrow. The Villages down toward Kissimmee, pretty strong storms as forecasted by the future radar. More storms riding along, say, I-75.
Maggie.
Evening. So even
Get
though you may
your
not be
butt
really
back over
close
here.
to the center of the hurricane, you certainly could feel some effects. Overall winds shouldn't be that bad. Squally weather may be the bigger issue. So, Dr. Knapp, a lot of things going on here for us in Florida in particular. I know you've been really analyzing this thing. Got to say, it looks as impressive right now as it's looking days.
Yeah, it certainly does. It has gotten its vertical act together, so to speak. It was tilted much of the time when it was south of Cuba and over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. Now getting a little bit more vertically aligned despite the trough in the Gulf of Mexico causing the wind shear. And it will continue to be sheared and steered to some degree from the southwest, because after it gets farther north, then this trough is going to accelerate northeastward, and it will speed up. There will be some wind shear, but again, not enough to just tear it apart. And actually, this might inject some non-tropical energy into the mix. So even if it's not technically a tropical storm for the northeast, could bring tropical storm conditions to some of you. The colors of the low-level spin, and the more time it spins over the Gulf of Mexico, the stronger it can stay longer, and be pretty well put together, even though it'll be spending some time over land over the southeast, and then be very close to the coastline in the mid-Atlantic and the northeast. But again, by that time, might not be fully tropical, but still pack a punch in terms of wind and water. By Saturday, it is long gone to Atlantic Canada. So given the fact that there are still uncertainties in who's exactly going to get tropical storm conditions out of this after Florida, it's important to realize the chances are going up for places along the Georgia coast and the South Carolina coast. For Charleston, it's about a 1 in 4, nearly 1 in 3 shot, and the chances could be going up farther north and east. And the arrival of winds of tropical storm force for a place like the South Carolina-Georgia border would be maybe tomorrow evening around this time. So tomorrow's the prep time in South Carolina, and you will have increasing rainfall tomorrow night into Thursday morning. That could result, by the time we get to Thursday morning, Savannah, Charleston could have some water problems on the roads. Same thing goes for eastern North Carolina and the Hampton Roads area. Now, another thing about Charleston with flooding is that Thursday morning is astronomical high tide, about the time when the center circulation might be inland, but you might have onshore flow. So, Jackie, Charleston, is flood vulnerable as it is, could have a combination of saltwater and freshwater problems on Thursday.
Doesn't take much there. We've got much more to come here on the Weather Channel. More live coverage as we track Hurricane Elsa closing in on a Florida landfall.
Watching Hurricane Elsa at the moment and vlogging.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor,
There you go.
Your mission, stand up to moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis and take it on with Rinvoq. Rinvoq, a once-daily pill, can dramatically improve symptoms.
I love it again.
Pain, stiffness, swelling, and for some, Rinvoq can even significantly reduce RA fatigue. That's Rinvoq relief. With RA, the overactive immune system attacks your joints. Rinvoq regulates it to help stop the attack.
Rinvoq can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious infections and blood clots, sometimes fatal, have occurred, as have certain cancers, including lymphoma, and tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in levels. Your doctor should monitor your blood. Tell your doctor about any infections, and if you are or may become affected, take Rinvoq.
Take on RA. Talk to your rheumatologist about Rinvoq relief. Rinvoq, make it your mission. The Capital
With the Capital One Venture Card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere. Or convenient, you can use them on any travel purchase, not just some travel purchases.
What's in your wallet? Return to rugged. The all-new rugged Nissan 2022 Nissan Pathfinder.
Comes to protecting your business. Cox Business Security Solutions.
Get that bit.
Access for real-time tax files. Use it. Control your alarm system anywhere you have connectivity. Alarm Disarm. We handle false alarms and more. Our automatic text alerts let you know instantly if the door is left open, the window breaks, or an alarm is tripped. Because we know what you need is more than a security system. It's peace of mind.
Guys, as a urologist, I've seen it all. What's normal for some men may not be normal for others. So if your normal erection is off because of a vent with a bump that bothers you, then we should talk. Because it could be Ehrlich's disease, or PD, a treatable condition that involves a buildup of stomach. Don't wait. Find a urologist who can diagnose and treat PD and can explain all your options. part2.com.
She teach you where they're He said, "Go where you like the weather." That's advice I've ever had.
It could be out there.
Currently in our area, 71 degrees with rainy conditions. Tonight, windy with thunderstorms early, low 70. Wednesday, thunderstorms, high 83. Chance of rain, 70%. Wednesday night, considerable cloudiness with occasional rain showers, 70. Chance of rain, 60%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And welcome back to our Around the Clock coverage now of Hurricane Elsa. If you're just joining us, Elsa upgraded to a hurricane yet again as of the 8 o'clock advisory. Storm closing in on the Florida coastline. Now want to get right for a hurricane at first after right now. Dr. Knapp, less than 50 miles from the coastline, but going north. Not all good yet.
Yeah, and that in many ways is really bad news for the Gulf Coast of the Florida Peninsula because that means you're going to continue to have the strong rainy side of Elsa right over you. So center circulation offshore, in many ways, center of action is very close to the coastline and on land. So with a path like this,
This is my helmet form
Tampa Bay area,
when I'm in Wiggles Space.
side of the storm, and that will bring all kinds of problems: wind, rain-induced flooding, and some
This is what I'm mentally am like when I'm in Wiggles Space. Like what I am right now.
on this mission, but they are in the northeastern quadrant, so momentarily we'll see what they get when they come in on that side.
And you can take your hitting behind the way
But it doesn't matter.
into jail.
Right at that threshold, 70, 75 miles an hour. Meteorologists could argue about that for weeks. What the actual intensity is and was and so forth. The bottom line is strong tropical storm, borderline Cat 1 hurricane. You've got essentially the same impacts. Winds could
Say you sorry.